Angus Solomon, sighed Mr. Lowry. Is that a penis you've drawn in your exercise book? Angus jumped, startled, and remembered where he was. Mr. Lowry was standing next to his desk, staring down at the page. Other kids were sniggering. Angus felt his mouth go dry, and his heart speed up. For a second he thought about lying. He decided not to. No, miss, he admitted. It's a submarine. Miss Lowry nodded grimly. I thought as much, she said. Now stop wasting time and draw a penis like I asked you to. She pointed to the one she'd drawn on the blackboard. That's not fair, thought Angus. I wasn't wasting time. Hi, Bill Lord, Joker5 on Twitter, and I've got the Ponderings and Musings website on ICT and Literacy. I am sorry about this buzzing noise. I don't know what's causing it. I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight. I'm afraid I'm suffering from man flu, which we know is a life-threatening disease. I wish I could be with you because I could bring my books to show you some wonderful books. What I want to just cover over the next few minutes is really looking at how we can fire children up, mainly in primary, which is my area of knowledge. Fire children up around books. That was Maurice Gleitzman, and obviously Bumface is one of his more controversial books, a wonderful, humorous romp through a child trying to prevent his mother becoming pregnant. But also the author of a wonderful series of books, Once, Now and Then, dealing with some really tricky issues, including a child's flee from the Nazis during Second World War, and then bringing up to modern times with a tale of bullying within the Australian bushfires. And it makes me consider that it's children's rights to be read books that aren't just safe all the time. I mean, it's important actually we read books by authors who are still alive. And Gleitzman makes children feel uncomfortable. He also makes them laugh out loud. Neil Gaiman, who absolutely wonderful author, those who like comic strip or know his graphic novels will know what a great writer he is. He's also produced some wonderful books for children. Coraline, that was made into the film, The Day I Swapped My Dad for Two Goldfish, and The Wolves in the Walls, all great books. Let me just read you the opening to the Graveyard book. There was a hand in the darkness and it held a knife. The knife had a handle of polished black bone and a blade finer and sharper than any razor. If it sliced you, you might not know you had even been cut. Not immediately. The knife had done almost everything it was brought to that house to do, and both the blade and the handle were wet. Now the book goes on to take Bod, our main protagonist, to be saved and adopted by the inhabitants of the local graveyard. And there are bits of description in there which are just absolutely sumptuous, and it's a tough old read at times, but a funny read. And we need to be finding books that tackle issues and take children on journeys. Taking it away from novels, the most wonderful book by Graham Baker Smith, Father, modern day Icarus really. But the illustrations on here, and this is the really high-tech way of sharing images with you, I know. Let me just read you the opening to this. Poppies lined the path to my father's house. It was made of stone and slate and fastened deep into the cliff. It was safe and rooted in the rock, but inside my father dreamed of air and flight. Day and night he sewed and stitched and sawed and hammered and trimmed the feathers of 1,000 hopeful wings. Now, Baker Smith has also written Leon and the Place in Between, which again is a book that's slightly bonkers, but also a book that shares beauty with our children. And those who read my blog may know my absolute love of the books of Jackie Morris, who's a fine artist who lives in West Wales. And one of the things I think she does, and Christian Birmingham, who uses pastel artwork, one of the things that these two people do is they show children beauty. And I think that's something that's sometimes lost. We need to make sure we're building in time for our children so that they are just receiving books for the sake of reading them, not spotting adjectives at 1,000 yards. And there is something to be said for that moment where you're told to sit down, stick your thumb in your mouth, plait the girl in front's hair, or play with your Velcro on your trainers, and just listen to a damn good book. So that's why I've developed the Read for Joy wiki, which I'll show you in a moment, and also the Google book map.
So this is what I was talking about earlier, the Read for Joy wiki, which is aimed at not just teachers, but grandparents, booksellers, librarians, authors, publishers, teaching assistants, anybody interested in children's books. The idea behind it is that we've got a set of book lists on here which aren't necessarily aimed at these finding books that are good for Unit 2 in Year 3 or something. So picture books up to 7 years, a very wide range. The wonderful Vegetable Soup there, and Ernest by Catherine Rayner. And then if we go back, graphic novels, and developing list there, and the manga version of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, which is a fantastic comic strip book. Poetry and novels. We've also then got book suggestions, which is a growing area. Within these you'll have a brief description, theme, and then type of book. If we come up and see if we've got something here, Toad Rage, and again theme, stories from other cultures. On this as well we've got the map of children's books. Now this is within Google, and this came from some of the wonderful work that's taking place around using Google Maps. And within this, if I move to my home page, you can see that we've got the place markers on here, and the blue place markers are picture books, green place markers are novels, red place markers are short novels. The intention of this is to place the marker where the main setting of a book is. So for example, if we go here, if we look, we've got The Day of Ahmed's Secret, which is set in Cairo, Egypt. Ahmed drives his cart through Cairo for his father, delivering gas canisters. The book shows the hustle and bustle of the city with beautiful images and a lovely surprise at the end. If we click on the link, it then takes you to, in this case, an Amazon page, which allows you to buy the book. So if we go back to the map, this is intended at getting as many people involved as possible. At the moment you can see it's very Eurocentric, but I do want to try and see certainly if we can get some more around Australasia. So anybody interested in there, I'll put this on my blog tonight, which it's lordlit.wordpress.com, and I really would love anybody to get involved in this. And thanks ever so much for listening. Have a great night, and I'm going back to bed now.